Alright everyone, so today we are solving a topical worksheet, paper 1 topical worksheet of one of the subtopic of chapter number 1, which is the base units. Let us start off with the first one. Here we have, which definition is the correct and uses only quantities rather than units. So in the option, first of all, the definition has to be correct. For example, if they talk about mass density, then density is mass per unit volume. It can't be density is mass per unit force, mass per unit area. So definition has to be correct, and the equation must be using the units, not the units, sorry, it must be using the quantities only. So if we take a look at the first one, density is mass per cubic meter. Per cubic meter is a unit. The question was that it has to be expressed only in terms of the quantities. Cubic meters is not a quantity, it is a unit. Let's talk about the second one, B. Potential difference is energy per unit charge, per unit current. Energy is quantity, current is a quantity, लेकिन the definition is wrong. ठीक है, potential energy would have studied is work done per unit charge. Yeah, energy per unit, it should have been energy per unit charge. So the definition is wrong. The third one is pressure is force per unit area. Force is a quantity, area is a quantity, and the definition is also correct. So C is the right answer for this one. Pressure is force per unit area. And similarly, you can check out the last one. Speed is distance traveled per second. Second is not a quantity, second is rather a unit. So we have a problem in the last option as well. Alright, so let's take a look at the next one. Here we have the force F between 2 point charges Q1 and Q2 are a distance r apart. The distance between the 2 point charges is r, is given by the equation. Then you have the equation F equals to K times Q1 Q2 divided by r squared, where K is a constant. It's not a constant number, it is a constant. It would be having some units. What are the SI base units of K? So you need to find the units of K. So the steps I tell the students is, the very first step is you can make this thing your subject. Okay, जिसकी उसने आपसे units पूछी हैं या whatever the quantity that you need to work on, make it the subject. So if you make K the subject, your equation would look something like this: F times R squared divided by Q1 times Q2, the product of two charges. So what do you do afterwards is start inserting the SI base units of all the quantities that you have in the equation. So for example, for the force, so we can memorize for the force, we have kg ms minus 2. How do we get it? F equals to ma. From there you can insert the units. You'll be getting force equals to kg ms minus 2 divided by Q1. Q1 is the charge. The unit of charge that you study is coulombs, but coulomb is not a base unit. Okay, it is not from the table that we draw for the 7 base quantities. ये base unit नहीं है. Rather, coulomb is represented as AS. Okay, AS is product of amperes and seconds. So it would be AS because Q equals to IT, from this is where we get it from, times the other one Q2, that would also be AS. Okay, so we would be having kilograms in our answer, we must be having A in our answer, we must be having meters, and we must be having seconds. Okay, so these two options, they are not even in consideration because we have one of the quantity which is restricted in the options. So let us do some mathematics here. So kilograms as it is, M as it is, and you have s power negative 2 at the top, and at the bottom downstairs we have s raised to the power 2. If you shift it upward, it would be s negative 2 negative 2, which is s power minus 4. Similarly, you have a square in the denominator. If you shift it upward, that would also be a raised to the power negative 2. So kilogram meters, s raised to the power negative 4, a raised to the power negative 2. So the option that we have is B. Okay, so B is the right answer for this one. Okay, so here we have the next one. Which quantity with its unit is correct? The acceleration of the bicycle 1.4 meter per second. Meter per second is not the unit of acceleration, it is ms minus 2 meter per second square. It should have been meter per second square. The second one says electric current in the lamp 0.25 amperes per second. The unit of electric current is only amperes, not ampere per second. Electric potential difference across the battery 8.0 joules per coulomb. Joules per coulomb is also called volts, because the formula for voltage that we study or potential difference is work done per unit charge. So what is the unit of work done? Joules. What is the unit of charge? Per coulomb. So that unit is correct. Sorry, divided by coulomb. So that can also be written as JC minus 1. So this one is correct. And you take a look at the last one, kinetic energy of the car 4500 joules, 4500 newton per meter. Either it should have been newton meter or it should have been joules. Okay, in base units it would have been newton meter. Then you break down newton as well, so it would be kg m2 s minus 2 in base units. Okay, so at this stage you would have probably not done this one. When we discuss these things in the chapter of elastic deformation, over there we explain the formula of stress. Only then you will be able to insert their unit. So I'm going to skip this one for a moment. Let's move on to the next one. Which statement includes a correct unit? Energy in Newton second. Energy is not in Newton second, so that is incorrect. Momentum 6.2 Newton second. Okay, 6.2 Newton second is also the same thing as kgms minus 2 times second. Okay, and that would be kg ms minus 1. Then from the formula of momentum that you study in O levels or IGCSE physics, formula of momentum was product of mass and velocity. So you have the unit of mass that is being multiplied by the unit of velocity, which is meter per second. So this should be the right answer. In all other options there is some problem. Let's move on to the next one. So let me see if there is something that would be out of syllabus here. 22. No, I think we should be able to attempt this one. The average kinetic energy of the gas molecules is given by the equation. ठीक है, ये equation है which is representing the kinetic energy of gas molecules. T is your absolute temperature, Kelvin में. What are the SI units of K? Once again, what you can do is ignore the constant numbers. They won't be used in the calculation, and make K the subject, because K हमने units find करने हैं. So what we can write is K equals to E divided by T. Okay, because 3/2 it was not even there, so K equals to E divided by T. What is E? E is the energy or work done is the same thing. इन दोनों के units आपके same थे. What were the base units? kg m2 s minus 2 divided by the SI base unit of temperature is Kelvin. So kg m2 s minus 2 k minus 1. So for 22, D should have been the right answer. It corresponds to this thing. Let's take a look at the next one, which is the SI base unit. So you need to mark the SI base unit. So grams is not the SI base unit. Kilogram is Kelvin. Okay, and then we have volt. So current is not a unit in the first place. ये unit तो है ही नहीं. Forget about the base unit. Current is a physical quantity जिसका unit होता है ampere. So it is not a unit. ये तो वैसे ही out of the equation है. Kilogram is a standard unit for mass instead of grams. Voltage was not there in the table जिसमें हमने 7 base quantities या 7 base units discuss किए थे. Voltage was not there. Kelvin was there, which is named after the physicist, the chemist Lord Kelvin. He was English physicist and chemist. Let's take a look at the next one. We need to find, whatever the question is, we need to find the suitable unit for G. and let me find if there is any quantity that would not be the part of syllabus that you have studied. Okay, spring constant. Spring constant is there, but the thing is, spring constant is something that you study in O-level physics as well, so we can do this one. So let's check it out. We need to find the suitable units for g. तो g को subject बना लेते हैं, then we can ignore the constant numbers. अगर कोई हुए उसको ignore कर देंगे. So g equals to 4. I'm going to ignore 4. I'm going to ignore n. Okay, n is the number of turns, because number of the turns का unit नहीं होगा. Number of turns के साथ हम second या meters कुछ भी नहीं लिखेंगे. We just write a number. Number is a non-physical quantity. उसके साथ कोई unit नहीं आपका आएगा. ठीक है, it's just an abstract quantity. So what you have is g equals to r cube times k divided by r4. Now what is small r? That is the radius. What is capital R? That is also the radius. So both of them, the unit would be same. So I could have written k over r, that would have been the same thing. लेकिन चलो, for convenience, for your convenience, इसको ऐसे ही लिखते हैं. Radius would be in cubic meters, r cube would be in meter cube, divided by, in the denominator you would be having meter raised to the power 4. Okay, then the problematic part would be the spring constant. So for the spring constant is the ratio of force and extension. Force का unit आपके पास था kg ms minus 2. Extension is in meters. Okay, so meter and meter cancelled out. What are you left with? You're left with kg s minus 2. This thing cancel with 3 powers. You'll be left with kg, kilogram, meter in the denominator, m minus 1, and s minus 2. Okay, we need to answer in terms of Newton. So we should not be changing the Newton. Newton को Newton ही रहने देते हैं फिर. So Newtons here. So we have Newtons. Newton here, meter cube over here. Newton per meter. Okay, nm minus 1. ठीक है, spring constant के जो आपके units से, the units of spring constant we can obtain from here. K equals to F over E. Spring constant is the ratio of deforming force to the extension. अब force के आपके units वैसे base units हैं kg ms minus 2, लेकिन all the options are in terms of Newton. So Newton को हम base unit में convert नहीं करेंगे. We write it as it is Newton, because in the option we need the Newton, divided by meters. So nm minus 1 we can write it as, so यहाँ पे आ गया nm minus 1. Then you can apply the laws of indices. For example, Newton would be there as it is, and then you have this thing, m square divided by m raised to the power 4. ठीक है, न्यूमरेटर में आपके पास आ जाएगा m मीटर स्क्वायर, बिकॉज m क्यूब और उसके साथ मल्टीप्लाई हो रहा है मीटर की पावर -1. द पावर्स वुड बी एडेड, सो 3 plus -1 would be meter square, or divided by meter 4 as it is. If you solve it further, it would be m power -2. So n m minus 2. So for 34, nm minus 2, A should have been the right answer. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one. Question number 35. Okay, question number 35. One property. Okay, I'm going to skip the question. What we need to do is, what are the SI base units of Q? ठीक है, Q के आपने SI base units find करनी है. So Q is already the subject, A काम already हुआ है. Now let us see what the quantities are. For example, P, P आपका क्या है यहाँ पे? P is the pressure of the sound wave, okay. V is the speed and A is the surface area. Okay, so that is everything that we need to know from this question. So we can now find the SI base units of Q. So Q के SI base units आपके क्या होंगे? What is the SI base units of pressure? I tell the students that you should be memorizing the SI base units of pressure as well. kg m minus 1 s minus 2. How do we get it? Pressure equals to force over area. Force का आपके पास आ जाता है kg m s minus 2. For area you have meter square. So 1 powers cancels with this one. You still have 1 meters. You have meters in the denominator. ऊपर shift होके kg m minus 1 आ जाएगा. But the best practice is कि pressure के आप base units memorize कर लो. ठीक है. there are certain quantities जिनके लिए recommended है कि आप base units उनके memorize कर लो, because they'll be used more often than any other. कौन कौन सी quantities हैं वो? force, pressure, work और energy. that's the same. work हो या energy वो आपकी same quantity होती है. power. ओके ये जिस ऑर्डर में लिखे हैं इसी ऑर्डर में इंपॉर्टेंट है और इसी ऑर्डर में रिपीट होते हैं. द मोस्ट फ्रीक्वेंट वन इज और द रिपीटेड वन इज फोर्स. सो दिस इज द यूनिट ऑफ प्रेशर. वी डिवाइड बाय द यूनिट्स ऑफ स्पीड. स्पीड के आपके पास यूनिट है मीटर पर सेकेंड टाइम्स द यूनिट ऑफ एरिया. एरिया के यूनिट है मीटर स्क्वायर. ओके ऑल द बेस यूनिट्स. सो देन यू कैन डू सम कैंसलेशन. देखो किलोग्राम वुड बी देयर एज इट इज. सेकेंड per second square would be as it is. No, we have s minus 1 in the denominator as well. So we need to combine the meters first. So आपके पास numerator में है m minus 1 और denominator में overall you have meter cube. ठीक है. These two would be combined to make meter cube. m3 हो जाएगा. So once you solve this thing you'll be getting m power minus 4. minus 1 minus 3 would be minus 4. ठीक है. according to the rules of indices. अब s को भी seconds को देखते हैं. in the denominator you have s power minus 2 और denominator में आपके पास ये है s power minus 1 है. once you shift minus 1 from downstairs to upstairs so आपके पास हो जाएगा minus 2 minus minus 1 plus 1. so it would be s power minus 1. so kg m power minus 4 s power minus 1. C should be the right answer for question number 35. Yeah, all the quantities that we have, we would have studied it already. Okay, so let's solve this one. When the beam of light is incident, हमने units find करने हैं. unit of intensity expressed as the base unit. Okay, और जो formula है वो उसने description में दिया. ठीक है. इक्वेशन नहीं दी फॉर्मूला की लेकिन उसने डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया है. फ्रॉम द डिस्क्रिप्शन वी कैन ऑटोमेटिकली राइट डाउन द फॉर्मूला. सो इंटेंसिटी की उसने इक्वेशन आपको दी है. इंटेंसिटी ऑफ द बीम इज डिफाइंड एज एनर्जी पर यूनिट एरिया पर यूनिट टाइम. सो एरिया एंड टाइम वुड बी इन द डिनोमिनेटर. पर यूनिट एरिया मीन्स एरिया इन डिनोमिनेटर. पर यूनिट टाइम मीन्स टाइम इन डिनोमिनेटर. देन यू हैव द एनर्जी. ठीक है. एनर्जी के आपने बेस यूनिट्स इंसर्ट करनी है. सी व्हाट आई टोल्ड यू, एनर्जी आपकी बहुत दफ़ा रिपीट होती है. एनर्जी हो या वर्क डन हो, इसके भी बेस यूनिट्स इस बैरर के आप मेमोराइज कर लो. के जी m2 s minus 2. ओके वी डिवाइड इट बाय मीटर स्क्वायर. एरिया का मीटर स्क्वायर आ गया. टाइम का आपका आ जाएगा सेकेंड्स. देन यू कैन सॉर्ट इट आउट. इसको थोड़ा सा सिंप्लीफाई कर लेते हैं. सो वी गेट किलोग्राम्स एज इट इज़. meter square cancelled out. You're left with s power minus 2 upstairs, s raised to the power 1 downstairs. so ये आपके पास आ जाएगा s power minus 3. so do we have the option like this? kilogram, yeah, the last one. ठीक है. यहाँ पे थोड़ी सी हाइड हुई है. kg s power minus 3. so for this one इसको हाईलाइट कर देता हूँ. के जी एस पावर माइनस 3 शुड बी द राइट आंसर फॉर नंबर 52. डी शुड बी द राइट आंसर. अच्छा, लेट्स टेक अ लुक एट द नेक्स्ट वन. which of the following could be measured in the same units as force. सो फोर्स आपकी क्या है, उसको आपने यूनिट से आपके के जी एम एस माइनस टू आर द बेस यूनिट्स, न्यूटन इज़ द नॉर्मल ट्रेडिशनल यूनिट, एनर्जी ओवर डिस्टेंस, एनर्जी ओवर टाइम, एनर्जी टाइम्स द डिस्टेंस, ठीक है, एनर्जी टाइम्स द डिस्टेंस, एंड द लास्ट वन दैट वी हैव इज momentum times the distance. So which one is that for force? देखो, the formula for force, one of the formula that we know is work done equals to the product of force and distance, and work done also equals to the energy, क्योंकि दोनों का यूनिट सेम है. वर्क डन का यूनिट भी जूल्स है, एनर्जी का यूनिट भी जूल्स है, सो इन दोनों को हम एक दूसरे के इक्वल लिख सकते हैं. सो इफ़ एनर्जी इक्वल्स टू द प्रोडक्ट ऑफ वर्क डन एंड डिस्टेंस, पैरेलल डिस्टेंस, सो यहाँ से अगर फोर्स को हम रीअरेंज करें, फोर्स वुड बी इक्वल टू द एनर्जी डिवाइडेड बाय डिस्टेंस, विच इज़ द वेरी फर्स्ट ऑप्शन. सो ए शुड बी इन द राइट आंसर फॉर दिस वन. Alright, so then we have the last one of this worksheet. In this one we need to express joules in terms of the base units of mass, length, time, kilogram, meters and second. So these are the quantities और इनके units क्या हैं, kilogram, meter and second, और इसमें आपने express करना है joules को. So you see, I tell you all the time कि joules के या work done के या energy के, work done या energy जो physical quantity है जिसका units है आपके पास joules, in the base units you need to memorize it. So you get a question in P1 straight away without doing any working, you can directly solve it. अभी work done का या energy का हमने इधर unit insert किया था, which was kg m2s minus 2. So you straight away mark option B as the right answer for question number 54. So in case you fail to memorize this one, तो आप इसको ड्राइव भी कर सकते हो. I mean, it's not a compulsion कि you need to memorize, it's just for saving time. तो आप joules को ड्राइव कर लो, force times the distance, okay, force times the distance, then force would be in kg ms minus 2, distance would be in meters. So what do you get? You combine the two meters using the law of indices, so you'll be getting m2s minus 2. और अगर आपको फोर्स के भी भूल गए, that's totally fine. You can also derive force with this formula, F equals to ma. Mass we have kilograms, acceleration we have ms minus 2, and that's why instead of force we write down the base units kg ms minus 2.